Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Danda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Krishna. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namasrishtham Manumapi Sachiputramatra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajamurupurim Mathurim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasha Prapto Yasya Pratita Kruya Shri Gurum Natosmi. First of all, offer my millions of obeisances to lotus feet of Asmati Guru Pad Padma Nitila Prashta Jagat Guru Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. Then also offer obeisances to lotus feet of Tridanti Sannyasi Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Dandi Maharaj Ji, Nam Nishta Santa Shri Aniruddas Prabhu Ji, and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are gathered here to accept my humble obeisances. We are discussing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 21. Bhagavad Gita is very important verse. Bhagavad Gita is a very important scripture. Veda vinashina nityam jainam ajamabhyam katham sapurusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. Partha, O Partha, katham, how, yaha, one who Veda knows enam, this soul, to be avinashinam, indestructible, nityam, eternally, ajam, unborn, avyayam, immutable, kam, whom, hanti, can he kill, kam, whom, can saha, that, purusha, person, ghatayati, cause to kill. O Partha, how can a person who knows the Atma to be eternally birthless, immutable, and indestructible kill anyone or cause anyone to be killed? Sarartha Varshanitika. Shri Krishna is answering Arjuna. O Partha, after acquiring this knowledge, you will not be guilty of committing sin even after engaging in battle. I will also not be guilty of inspiring you to fight. For this purpose, the present shloka beginning with Veda Vinashinam is being spoken. Here the word Nityam is an adverb. The use of the word Avinashi, indestructible, Aja, unborn, and Avyayam, immutable, denies that Atma can be diminished at all by acts of destruction. Shri Bhagavan says, with this knowledge, how can a person like me kill anyone or be killed by any means? In the same way, how can a person like you kill someone or cause someone to be killed? So this is actually very nice verse. Veda vinashinam nityam ye enam ajam abhyayam katham sapurusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. So we read Srila Gurudev's translation, and now we'll discuss Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj translation from Bhagavad Gita as it is. Veda vinashinam nityam jainam ajamabhyayam katham sapurusha partha kam ghateti hantikam. Veda knows. Veda means knows. Avinashinam, indestructible. Nityam, always existing. Yaha, one who. Enam, his soul. Ajam, unborn. Avyayam, immutable. Katham, how. Saha, that. Purusha, person. Partha, O Partha, come, whom. Ghatayati, causes to hurt. Hanti, kills. Come, whom. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal and unborn, immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Everything has its proper utility, and a man who's situated in complete knowledge knows how and where to apply a thing for its proper utility. Similarly, violence also has its utility, and how to apply violence rests with the person in knowledge. Although the justice of the peace awards capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, the justice of the peace cannot be blamed. Because he ordered violence to another person according to the course of justice. In Manu Samhita, the law book for mankind, it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for the great sin he has committed. Therefore, the king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for supreme justice. And thus, Arjuna should follow the instruction, knowing well that such violence committed in the act of knowledge for Krishna is not violence at all, because at any rate, the man or rather the soul cannot be killed. So, for the administration of justice, so-called violence is permitted. A surgical operation is not meant to kill the patient, but to cure him. Therefore, the fighting to be executed by Arjuna at the instruction of Krishna is with full knowledge. So there is no possibility of sinful reaction. So you'll see here that in India, generally there was capital punishment. India is one of the few countries where capital punishment is given. But now there are many civil rights groups. They're protesting that, oh, please abandon capital punishment. We don't want capital punishment. But here, Manu Samhita and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj is telling that a murderer should be hanged. Otherwise, he will suffer so much reaction in future. So, it is very important that murderer should be punished properly by the court. That is also a sign of mercy, because that will destroy his sinful reaction once for and all, and then he'll get a good chances in the next life to execute a peaceful and Krishna conscious life. Now the next verse is a very famous verse, text 22. Vasamsi chirnani yatha vihaya navani grunati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Very nice verse. Vasamsi means garments. Jirnani, old and worn out. Yatha, as it is. Vihaya, giving up. Navani, new garments. Grunati, does accept. Naraha, a man. Aparani, others. Tatha, in the same way. Sharirani, bodies. Vihaya, giving up. Jirnani, old and useless. Anyani, different. Samyati, verily accepts. Navani, new sets. Dehi, the embodied. Here, translation. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, similarly the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Purport. Change of body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even some of the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes of the body which appear from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in the previous verse. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the super soul. The super soul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas like the Mundaka Upanishad as well as the Shveta Upanishad compare the soul and the super soul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual's atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friend. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird, and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master, and the other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another or from one body to another. The Jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjun agreed to do by voluntary surrender to Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Katha Upanishad and Shveta Upanishad confirm this. Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno anishaya shochati muhyamana jishtam yada pashyati anyamisham asya mahimanam iti vita shoka. Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend, who is the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjuna has now turned his face towards his eternal friend Krishna and is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him, and thus hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his older old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. So it's very nice. Vasamsi chirnani yatha vihaya navani grunati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani yatha, just as naraha, a person, vihaya, giving up, jirnani, old and worn out, vasamsi, clothes, granati, accepts, aparani, other, navani, new ones, tatha, in the same way, dehi, the embodied soul, jivatma, vihaya, giving up, jirnani, old, sharirani, bodies, samyati, accepts, anyani, other, navani, new ones. Just as a person discards his old garments and acquires new ones, the Jivatma similarly gives up old, useless bodies and accepts new ones. Sarathavarshini Tika. In this shloka, beginning with Vasamsi, Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, is there any harm in giving up old clothes to accept new ones? If you say by fighting against Bhishma, you and I will be the cause of the Jivatma named Bhishma giving up his body, I reply that Bhishma will simply give up his old useless body and take a new body. How can you or I be blamed for this? So basically, old body, everyone has to give up. Bhishma has to give up. We also have to give up. No doubt that this body is perishable, so nothing to lament about this. Now, shloka number 23. These are all very important verses. Nayanam chinnanti shastrani, nayanam dati pavaka, na chayanam kledanti apo, na shosheti maruta. Shastrani, various weapons. Chindanti, do not pierce. Enam, him, the Jivatma. Pavakaha, fire. No dahati, does not burn. Enam, him. Apaha, waters. Na kledayanti, do not moisten. Enam, him. Cha, and Marutaha, the wind. Na shoshayati, does not dry him. The Jivatma can never be pierced by any weapon, burned by fire, moistened by water, nor dried by the wind. Sarathavarshini. For Arjuna, The weapons used by you in battle cannot cause any pain or misery to the Atma. To explain this, Sri Bhagavan is speaking the shloka beginning with Nainam. Here the word Shastrani means swords or any earthly weapons. Pavaka means the fire weapon. Apa means the water weapon. Maruta means the air weapon. So basically, this is talking about Apaha means actually Parjanyastra. Maruta means actually the Vayvyastra. Pavaka means Agneyastra. Oh Arjuna, even if you use all these weapons, they will not cause any pain to the Atma. So no weapon will is able to destroy the soul. Soul is eternal and completely immune to the reaction of any weapons, attack of any weapons. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledentyapo, na shosheti maruta. Na means never. Enam unto the soul. Chindanti can cut into pieces. Shastrani, all weapons. Na, never. Enam unto the soul. Dahati, burns. Pavakaha, fire. Na, never. Cha, also. Enam unto the soul. Kledayanti, moistens. Apaha, water. Na, never. Shoshayati, dries. Marutaha, wind. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can he be burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. All kinds of weapons, swords, flames, rains, tornadoes, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc. In addition to the modern weapons of fire, even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons. But formerly, there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Firearms were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science. Nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. Now, nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original soul. The Mayavadi, however, cannot describe how the individual soul evolved from ignorance and consequently became covered by illusory energy. Because they are atomic individual souls, Sanatan, eternally they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy, and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord. Just as the sparks of the fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. In the Varaha Puran, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. They are eternally so according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity. As is evident from the teaching of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. So, very nice explanation by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj that a Jiva is always separate from Bhagavan. He is always under the control of Bhagavan, but he is not Bhagavan. He is always the servant of Bhagavan. Now, text number 24. Achedyoyam adhayoyam akledyo ashocheva cha nitya sarvagata sthanur achaloyam sanatana. Achedya. The soul is called unbreakable. I am the soul. Adhaya, cannot be burned. I am the soul. Akledya, insoluble. Ashosha, cannot be dried. Eva, certainly. Cha, and Nitya, everlasting. Sarvagataha, all pervading. Sthanu, unchangeable. Achalaha, immovable. I am the soul. Sanatanaha, eternally the same. The individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned or dried. He is everlasting, all-pervading, unchangeable, immovable, eternally the same. All the qualifications of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole. You see that the atomic soul. So we are know the science of atomic science. Actually, atomic science is there actually. So we are very minute. We are very, very minute. And बालाग्रशत भागस्य शतधा कल्पितस्य च भागो जीवस्य विज्ञायस्य चानन्त्याय कल्पते. So living entity is 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair. So living entity is very minute. So whatever is told in the scriptures, actually we have to accept it as it is. We have to accept it as it is. So actually one conversation was going on between Dr. Singh and Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. Dr. Singh is actually Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. And Dr. Murphy also, he came to meet Sridhar Maharaj. So Sridhar Maharaj actually is talking to them about spiritual topics actually, and very nice discussion. So Dr. Singh is asking, objective evolution is what modern science calls Darwinism, Darwinian evolution. But how does subjective evolution unfold in Krishna conscious science? So Sridhar Maharaj is telling, you have to take the example of hypnotism. Through a form of mystic hypnotism, the super subject controls the subject to see a particular thing and is bound to see that. One may be. So actually, this is Shripad Dandi Maharaj also told one story that once one lady, she was feeling excruciating pain in the back. And that lady, she had excruciating pain in the back and she couldn't figure it out. So she was put in hypnotic condition or past life regression as they call it. And she remembered that she was a soldier and she was wounded with a gunshot in past life. So she carried that impression on the subtle body from that life and to this life, and she also used to experience pain in the back at the same spot. But after that past life regression, her pain went away. So Shripad Dandi Maharaj was telling me. So anyways, Sridhar Maharaj is telling that through a form of mystic hypnotism, the super subject controls the subject to see a particular thing and is bound to see that. One may think that we see a stone. The stone compels us to see it as a stone, but it is just the opposite. We are compelled to see it as stone, being under the influence of the super subject who displays everything as he likes. When he commands, see stone, then we shall see stone. So actually, we cannot see. Krishna will tell us, see it as stone, then we'll see it as stone. Like Shripad Dandi Maharaj once told a story that once Arjuna and Krishna were walking, and then Krishna showed one crow to Arjuna. And then he said, look how nice parrot it is. Then Arjuna said, yes, it's a very wonderful green parrot. And Krishna said, can't you see that it's just a crow? Then Arjuna told Krishna that, yes, actually you are the one who made the crow and you are the one who made the parrot. And how difficult it is for you to convert a parrot into a crow and crow into a parrot. So when you say that it is a parrot, although it's a crow, I agree with you. Because you are the creator of everything. And you are giving me the ability to see that it is parrot or crow. So I am not going to oppose your view. Whatever you say is right. If you say this is, you show me the western direction and say this is the east, I accept it as the east. Because you are the creator of the directions and the controller of the direction, Dikpal and everything. So here, God is making us see it as a stone, so we see it as a stone. Full control over whatever we see rests in His hands. No power to control what we see rests in the objective world. The objective world is fully controlled by the subjective. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Paschama Yogam Aishwaram. If I say, behold my mystic power, you are bound to see it. You have no other choice. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that in further chapter it will come, Paschama Yogam Aishwaram. That you see all the great personalities, Brahma and Vishnu and Mahesh and demigods in me. You see my universal form. The sun and moon are like my eyes. All the millions and millions of planetary systems are in my belly. You Paschama Yogam Aishwaram. When Krishna permitted, Arjuna was able to see. If Krishna would not have permitted, Arjuna could not have seen. So Krishna says, Matta Smritir Jnanam Pohanam. He is the prime cause of remembrance, forgetfulness, and intelligence. If you remember something, that is Krishna's mercy. If you forget something, that is also Krishna's desire. And intelligence also coming from Krishna. He is the controller. For his own pleasure, his Leela, he can do anything. This is true not only in the material world, but also in his own domain. What is meant by this statement of the Gita concerns this Brahmanda, this material world. The gist of this statement is that from the lower planetary systems up to the highest, the entire area of evolution and dissolution, everything is manipulated by him. No credit can be attached to any external thing. All credit should go to the center who controls everything. And reality is subjective. It is based on consciousness. Understand? So basically here, Bhakti Rakshasa Maharaj is telling that the reality is actually subjective. It's all based on consciousness. So this is actually very important. Krishna is a conscious person and we are also conscious. We are also conscious beings. So here is telling that reality is subjective. Subjective means taking place within the mind and modified by individual bias. This is what the dictionary says. Philosophy, it means of a mental act performed entirely within the mind. A cognition is a subjective act of mind. In grammar, subjective means pertaining to subjects as opposed to objects. So subjectivity, subjective. So anyways, reality is subjective and it is based on consciousness. It is based on consciousness. Subjectivity means judgment based on individual personal impressions and feelings and opinions rather than external facts. It's called subjectiveness. It is based on consciousness. Color is perceived through the eye. It is not that the color is there and the eye can catch it, but the seer sees through the eye and perceives color. So color is a perception. Its position as actual substance should be traced to the subtle plane of existence. This is the nature of reality. The gross is coming from the subtle. In Sankhya philosophy, of course, this is described as bifurcated thing. According to Sankhya philosophy, there are three branches of reality. The senses, the senses, and the sense objects. Sound is created by the ear. Color is produced by the eye, and so on. The objects of the senses are in the mode of ignorance. Tamogun. The sensual instruments are in the mode of passion. Rajogun, and the power of sensation is in the mode of goodness. So basically there are three things. The sense and sensual instruments and the sense objects. So anyways, so Sridhar Maharaj is telling that sound is created by the ear, color is produced by the eye, and so on. The objects of the senses are in the mode of ignorance, Tamogun. The sensual instruments are in the mode of passion, Rajogun. And the power of sensation is in the mode of goodness, Sattvagun. From these proceed light, the eye, color, light, the eye and color, sky, the ear, the sound. In this way, mundane reality branches in three ways, Tamo, Raja, and Sattva. So the gross world is coming from the subtle to the channel of consciousness. The feeler, the instrument of perception, is creating the object of his perception. Try to understand this principle of hypnotism. The whole thing is hypnotism. This whole creation, and it is completely in the hand of the supreme subject. All material laws have no meaning. The laws and the sub-laws are all pertaining to the subjective world. Now, actually, we have studied mechanics, physics. Sripad Dandi Maharaj also has studied. And we have seen actually, personally, how the laws of physics are broken to pieces. Once with Sripad Dandi Maharaj, we went to one temple in South India. It was on a small hill. And in front of the deity, you have to sit on a stone. Now, I am weighing maybe 100 kilos. That time, I don't know, maybe 90 or 800. And I was made to sit on a stone and then was told to make a wish. If my wish is going to come true, then whole stone would, the whole stone along with me will spin clockwise direction. If the wish is not going to come true, then myself I am sitting on the stone and the stone will spin in counterclockwise direction. No motor was there. It was simply on the floor, rough floor. The big stone was there. You have to sit on that, squat on that stone with your both feet on the stone and just maybe use two of your fingers to maintain your balance. And you'll spin like anything. Maybe 5, 10 RPM or something, 20 RPM, God knows. But you're spinning, people are spinning around. So, well, how you can justify that actually? How you can justify? Like one Kunda Shripada Dandi Maharaj went, there you put your hand, then by Lord Ram's mercy you'll get some fruit, banana or grapes or something. Automatically, anyone will go there, they will get some Ram's prasad. Even today, how do you justify this? Understand? And we went to Lord Shiva's temple, Shiv Ganga. There you apply ghee to the Shiva Linga, it will become butter. How do you justify this? How can the ghee be converted into butter? So ghee is like a very complex chain of amino acids and fat and protein. How can it be reverse engineered? Who is doing that? How Lord Shiva is able to do that? No answers in science. So Dr. Murphy is saying, but how can one pursue this sort of hypnotism? Actually, Sridhar Maharaj is telling, how can we know beforehand that in a laboratory, combining hydrogen and oxygen, two gases will produce water? Only when one comes in a particular stage of scientific knowledge can you know that a more subtle thing like gas can produce a tangible material thing like water. In this way, when you have an idea of the higher substance, then you can understand how from the subtle, the gross has originated. The relative world is a perverted reflection of the absolute reality. Highly qualified things must be given the position of causal importance. Understand? Highly qualified things must be given the importance of causal importance. Causal. Causal means involving or constituting a cause. Causal. So, causal. Highly qualified things must be given the position of causal importance. It is not that a lower thing can produce a higher thing, but it is easy for a higher thing to produce something lower. So this is not difficult to understand. So actually given an example that Bhagavatam, the story of Satrajit comes, that Satrajit had a stone, Surya Mani, the Samantak Mani, the sun god had given to Satrajit this Samantak Mani. Now this Samantak Mani was able to produce gold. So what is higher? Samantak Mani is higher or gold is higher? So lower object is created by the higher object. Always it is the higher object which creates the lower object. Always the mother and father producing a child. That is also like that. Mother and father are always superior. So that's why. So anyways, the higher thing can give rise to the lower thing. The modern scientific position is saying basically that stone can produce soul. But why not consider that soul can produce stone? Understand? So the science is telling that we will be able to produce life in laboratory. Understand? But they have not been able to do that by a combination of all the chemicals and all the ingredients. They are not able to produce a single soul, but they are giving a post-dated check that in future we will be able to produce a soul. But Sridhar Maharaj is telling that we should think that the soul can produce stone. We have to inquire about that process, how the soul can produce stone. But we have done away with that, and instead we say that stone is gradually producing soul. Now this is not very difficult to understand. Look at a cow. Cow is a living entity, and cow eats grass and gives milk. Now, is there any machine the scientists have created that can convert grass into milk? There are no machine like that. But we have in Ranganath Gaudiya Math so many wonderful cows. They simply eat dry grass. Many times they get green grass, but in sometimes even dry grass. And that dry grass actually very difficult to make. It has probably, how does it even have any juice? I don't know. Many times I see cows eat grass, dry grass, all over India, all over the world. And they produce such nectarian milk. How wonderful the power of the soul. And how the cows are able to produce so much milk? It is due to their love and affection for their cows and by Krishna's mercy. So anyways, so higher thing can produce lower things. The subtle should be given more importance than the gross. Why should we think that man has created God and not that God has created man? We generally think man has created God. It's a man's creation. God is a man's creation. It's an imagination. It's a figment of imagination. There is no God. There are so many people in India. They claim that there is no God. There was one scientist, Nobel laureate, Stephen Hawking or something. I don't know. Maharaj told me a long time ago. He said that there is no God. There is no God. But one day, even if there is a God, I will replace him by the equation of physics. I will control the whole world by an equation of physics, and I will remove the God from his position. This type of atheistic people are there. Why should we think that man has created God, not that God has created man? So Dr. Thudam Singh, Swarup Damodar Maharaj, then the God is the magician and we are his subjects. So Sridhar Maharaj is telling not only he is a magician, but the super magician. He is not merely the king of magician, that he is within our experience. So Dr. Murphy is asking, what is the role of Yoga Maya, God's internal potency? Sridhar Maharaj is telling that she is found in the eternal company of Krishna. In our conception of divinity, Purush Prakriti, the masculine, feminine are existing together. So we actually accept the existence of Yoga Maya. Radheshikeli Prabhuta Vinoda Vinyasa Vidyam Vrajavandi Tangrim Kurpaluta Adhyakila Vishavandya Tam Purnamasim Shirasanama. This is Yoga Maya, Purnamasi Devi Pranam. She conducts all the pastimes of Sri Krishna. So in our conception of divinity, Purush and Prakriti, the masculine and feminine are existing together. Potent and potency, substance and potency are inconceivably interconnected. So you'll see that we accept that God is a man or a woman. Then we say both. For us, Krishna is God and the other one is the goddess. They're always together. They cannot be separated. Ataparahita Suraj nahi jani Radha virahita Madhava nahi mani. How can you conceive of the sun without sunlight? We don't accept Krishna without Radharani. So both the divinity has Purush and Prakriti. The masculine and feminine aspect are there. Potent and the potency, substance and potency are inconceivably interconnected. Otherwise, if we conceive the Supreme Soul as existing independent of any potency, that will be the Brahman conception of Shankaracharya, ultimate consciousness as non-differentiated oneness. So, Gurudev used to tell, if you only worship Krishna, not Radharani, then you are worshipping impersonal Brahma of Shankaracharya. Because that is what Shankaracharya said. Shankaracharya said that the Brahma has no potency. It is Nishaktik, Nirakar, like this. So the absolute truth includes both potent and potency. Purush Prakriti, consciousness with energy. Actually, there are three main elements to be traced within divinity: Gyan, Bala and Kriya. So Parasar Shakti Vivedha Shvete Savamiki Gyana Bala Kriya. The eternal aspect of the absolute whole is divided in three ways: energy, consciousness and ecstasy. So absolute truth has three aspects: energy, consciousness and ecstatic. So absolute truth is energetic, fully conscious and ecstatic. Thinking, willing and feeling. Sat, Chit and Ananda. The Sat, the potency for maintaining existence, is the potency of Baladev. Chit, the consciousness aspect is Vasudev, Jnana. And Ananda, the ecstatic feeling is Radhika, Kriya. Jnana, Bala, Kriya. Knowledge, strength and feeling. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Eternity, cognition and bliss. Sandhini, Samvit, Ladini. Existence, realization and ecstasy. Baladev, Krishna and Radharani. These are the three phases of Advai Gyan. or the one whole. The one whole can be thought in its primary evolved stage in three ways: main consciousness, main energy, and main satisfaction. In three phases, we are to conceive that ultimate reality. Is there jnana, bala, kriyacha, thinking, feeling, willing? Satchit Ananda, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Eternity, auspiciousness, and beauty. And these three principles are expressed through evolution, dissolution in the material and non-eternal. So as Krishna is Satyam, eternal, is Shivam, auspicious, and is Sundaram, beautiful. These aspects of theism have been dealt with in a scientific way in Sri Krishna Samhita of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Once I considered from this point of view the question of planets in Vedic cosmology. See, Vedic cosmology, apparently, 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it describes. Bhagavatam describes that there is sun planet and then there is moon planet. Srimad Dandi Maharaj also was telling once. He's telling that the sun is Sunday. Like Sunday. Today is Sunday. In Telugu they say Adivaram, or in Ravivar or Adivar. These are different names for the Sunday. Then tomorrow comes Monday. Monday means the day of the moon. The Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj also told, the first planet closest to the earth is the sun planet. And it is about 100,000 yojanas, means 800,000 miles above the earth. That is what Bhagavatam says. And 100,000 yojanas above the sun is the moon. And then, now this particular month, two eclipses are coming. Like on New Moon Day, there will be an eclipse, understand? There will be an eclipse actually. And also, 25th October is Amasya. That is called Khandagras Surya Grahan. Partial eclipse will be there. The eclipse will begin at 2:29 in the afternoon in India. It is visible in India, and eclipse will last till 6:32. Almost 4 hours and 3 minutes. It's very long actually. And surprisingly, you'll see that the day on which Kartik ends, that is Purnima, there is actually complete lunar eclipse. It is visible in India. It will again begin almost 2:30 and it will end till 6:19 afternoon time. So the lunar eclipse will last about 3 hours and 40 minutes. Understand? Now this happens very rarely, that in the month of Kartik, both the eclipses are coming. This is happening after hundreds and thousands of years. And during that time, what we do at the time of eclipse, we try to submerge ourselves in the water. Not fully, but up to waist. Any water, lake water, river water, if Ganga is close to you. But if you don't have Ganga, don't worry. Any water that time, any river all over the world or any lake will become as good as Ganga. And even if you cannot do that, then you can simply be at your home. Don't venture outside during the eclipse time. And do Mahamantra Kirtan. Whatever mantra you chant during eclipse times becomes perfect. Gokoti dane grahane khagasya prayaga gango dakakalpavasa yajna yutam meru suvarna danair govinda kirter nasamam satamshai. Donating millions of cows at a time of solar eclipse is not equal to the chanting of Govinda's name. So that's why Nama Sankirtan should be done during eclipse time. Actually, among all the donations, the greatest donation, there are 3 donations are considered real donation. The donation of a cow, donation of land, and donation of gold. These 3 donations are considered very high class donations. And but donation of a cow is angi, means is the source, and other 2 are limbs. Gold and land is limbs. Means when you donate a cow, then you'll obviously decorate that cow with gold. Means you'll decorate the hooves with the gold and decorate the horns with the silver and whatnot. And also you will give some land in charity when you donate a cow, because there must be some land where cow can stay or where cow can graze. So the Angi donation is the cow and the Angas are the gold and land. Understand? But even if someone has donated mountains of gold and has stayed in the holy places for eternity, like Kashi and all, on the bank of Ganges, it is not equal to one Govindana. So therefore, eclipse time, we must try to do this Nama Sankirtan and bathe after the eclipse is finished. During eclipse time, don't eat, don't even pass urine and stool if you can control the urges. And whatever mantra you chant during that time, and if you don't know any mantra, Maha Mantra is the best mantra for Kirtan. Do loud Kirtan during that time. So we see that by the movement of the different planets, a solar eclipse is caused by the moon's shadow falling upon the earth. And yet in the scriptures, it has been described that during eclipse, the planet Rahu is devouring the sun or the moon. So Rahu is one planet. We know that when the demigods were drinking the nectar of immortality, Rahu came and sat between the sun and the moon. And the sun and moon pointed out, see, this is the demon. This is a demon. He is not a demigod. And Mohini chopped off the head of Rahu. So Rahu wants to take revenge on the sun and the moon, and he devours them at the time of solar eclipse or lunar eclipse. Now Rahu is a planet which is described in Bhagavatam like 4 times the dimension of the sun and 2 times the dimension of the moon, and that's why he's able to cover the sun and the moon. He's able to devour them. Now when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was in Puri during his last days, and an eclipse came. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada had one Purushottam Gaudiya Mott on Chatak Parvat. Chatak means one particular bird which waits for the rainwater to fall. It doesn't drink, that bird doesn't drink the water of any lake or river or a well. Virachamai dandam dina bandho dayamba gatirina bhavatta kachidanya mamasti nipadadashata kote nirvaramba navambastadapikalapayoda stuyate chatakena. If Krishna may give mercy or may punish me, just like a Chataka bird has no recourse. Chataka bird is always longing to drink the water of the rain. He is making the sound, pow, pow, water, water. Because his only hope is the rain cloud. Rain cloud may give water to the Chataka bird, or rain cloud may give him a thunderbolt and kill the Chataka bird. But what recourse I have? Rupa Goswami is telling. So like that, Chatak Parvat, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was doing his bhajan last days. And one devotee was supposed to know Siddhanta, the conclusion of scripture, was sitting next to Prabhupada. He suddenly ridiculed the idea given in the Bhagavatam that during a solar or lunar eclipse, Rahu devours the sun or moon. Understand? So he ridiculed Bhagavatam. And Srila Bhakti-Rakshak Maharaj said, I could not tolerate that such a remark should be passed in regard to the Bhagavatam, and argued that what Srimad Bhagavatam has stated is not to be taken lightly. Understand? Srimad Bhagavatam is Apaurushya. It is Samadhi Bhasha of Vyasadeva. Bhagavad Gita is also the Samadhi Bhasha of Vyasadeva and Krishna. So we cannot reject the views of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. They all have to be taken literally. Rahu devours the sun or moon. I could not tolerate that such remark should be passed in regard to the Bhagavatam, and argued that what Srimad Bhagavatam has stated is not to be taken lightly. I offered what seemed like some far-fetched support. I said that in his Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has created so many characters, but I think that they are not imaginary. Like Jaiva Dharma, we are discussing, so Jaiva Dharma class, we hear there is Lahari Mahashay, and then Lahari Mahashay is from Shantipur, and his children are telling him come back home, but he doesn't want to go back to Shantipur because Shantipur, all the residents are contaminated. Brahman is also contaminated. Kalidas Roy, Kalidas, and then Chudamani, Brajanath, Vijay Kumar, all these characters, which are so many characters, Raghunath Das Babaji, and their character is there. So you'll see that Vaishnav Das Babaji Maharaj, so many characters are there in Jaiva Dharma. They are not imagination. Understand? They are not imaginary. What he has written might have occurred during some other millennium, Kalpa or a day of Brahma, and that has now come to the surface. It may happen in some Kalpa, some day of Brahma, but it is a real Leela. In this way, I went on to support the cosmological position of the Bhagavatam by arguing that what is necessary to prove reality must also have some real position. It cannot be. In this way, my argument went and Prabhupada supported me. So, for example, Hanuman brought Giraj Govardhan to Rajamandal, but sometimes it is told that Pulatsamani brought it. In some Kalpa, this may happen, some Kalpa, that may happen. So, whatever Bhagavatam says is correct. In understanding the position of the planet Rahu, what Shukadev and Vyasadeva has said is geographically impossible. But their statements are there in Srimad Bhagavatam, and the literal meaning of the scriptures is not to be taken lightly. Considering the importance of the literal meaning of scripture, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj presented Bhagavad Gita as it is, which we are reading. I thought, how am I to prove that the Bhagavatam says? I don't know. But what is said in Srimad Bhagavatam must be true. I have faith in that. There are so many statements on the cosmology of the universe in the scriptures. The Aryans, the spiritually developed men of former times, used to see everything as consciousness. They saw that the shadow is also conscious. Means in Braja, actually, in India, we have learned to see everything as consciousness. Means like a lot of times you see that we are chanting Annik and the asana is a little bit away. So what we do, we just pull by asana by our foot. We just try to put it by our foot. Understand? And then sit on it. Don't even touch your asana by foot. Use your hand to bring it close to you and then sit upon it. Sometimes devotees, gamcha is a little far away. They just you pull the gamcha by their foot. Nothing should be touched by foot in Vedic culture. We should not touch anything by foot. Everything has consciousness. Understand? Any object. If you touch anything by your foot, you will lose your lifespan, auspiciousness, prosperity, and pious merit. No one should be hurt by the foot. No one should be kicked by the foot also. Any person or any object should not be kicked by the foot. Understand? Because there is consciousness everywhere. There was one time one Brahmani lady was there, very old lady, and she was very sick. She had some pain actually, shoulder pain and back pain. And one low class person was called. Said, "This my grandmother is very sick. Please heal her." Then he said, "I can heal her in a moment, but the only thing is I will have to step on her. I will have to put my foot on her shoulder, and then press it. And I am from a low class person, and she's a Brahmani. How am I going to put my foot on her shoulder? So then finally another Brahman told you that whatever sinful reaction you will get by putting your foot on her shoulder, I will take that sinful reaction. You put foot on your shoulder. But get rid of that pain she's having, excruciating pain." So what he did, he had on his head one cap, one actually headgear. That low class person took that headgear and then he placed on her shoulder, and then he placed his foot on her shoulder and pressed it. Then she felt relief from the pain. So anyways, but generally speaking, we should not touch anything by foot because everything has consciousness. Even shadow has consciousness. The shadow abhas is also considered to be a stage of consciousness. Only through the shadowy stage of consciousness can we come to the material conception of a thing. Because we reach the conception of a shadow, we must pass through some mental stage, and personification may be attached to that mental stage. The personification of the shadow may be referred to as Rahu. Rahu is actually the shadow. Is a shadow. The soul approaches matter, the material world, but before that he must pass through a shadowy stage of consciousness called Chidabhas. Consciousness passes through the shadowy level of consciousness into matter, non-consciousness. And that shadow stage of consciousness has its personality. It is also conscious and may be known as Rahu. Every material conception presupposes a spiritual conception of that particular thing. The shadow through which consciousness must pass in order to perceive things as material has personality. And in Bhagavatam, the rishis, the seers of the sages, are addressing it as Rahu. Because they are highly developed, they find the personal aspect of existence everywhere. What we perceive to be dead matter, they perceive to be conscious. Therefore, they always take the personal perspective. And actually, this is the thing, In Vrindavan, you'll see that the stones are melted. Everywhere you go, the footprints of Krishna are there. So, Pashupakhi Jhure Pashana Vidare Shunijara Gunagatha. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes are heard, then even the stones melt. And we go to this place, Alalnath. Alalnath is Alvarnath. There was one Brahman was worshipping the deity of four-armed Vishnu Narayan there. And he had a son. And then once, actually, son used to make offering. Father was gone to was not there. So the son was making offering, and the son was so much simple-hearted that Lord used to accept the food from him. But once the son presented a hot sweet rice to the Lord, and the father snatched it away from the hand of the Lord. How can we eat everything? If you eat all the hot sweet rice, then what will we have? And then that hot sweet rice fell on the hands and thigh of the Lord, and you can see marks even today in the Alalnath deity. But there, when Mahaprabhu used to offer on a piece of stone, the Dandavat Pranam to Alalnath, the stones used to melt, and the impressions of the body of Mahaprabhu is in the stones. How can you say that the stone is not conscious? The stone is also conscious. In front of Jagannath, there is a Garuda pillar, and that Garuda pillar, the thumb impression of Mahaprabhu is there. When Mahaprabhu is to press his fingers, then there's the stone pillar has melted there. So Vaikuntha Prithvi Adi Sakala Chinmay. In Vaikuntha, even the earth is conscious. So here Sridhar Maharaj is telling that everything we can see as conscious. So there was a big stone actually where the whole body of Mahaprabhu is imprinted in Alalnath. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur thought that people will place their feet on it. So when he was the governor, district magistrate of Puri and in charge of Jagannath temples and temples around Jagannath Puri, he brought that stone and put it in a separate temple. So now there is a separate temple for the stone on which entire body prints of Mahaprabhu are there. Understand? So in Vrindavan also we will go to the place where Lalita's marriage was conducted, mock marriage to Krishna was conducted. And there we go Chitra, so many types of stones where the bowls and pots and are there. So stones are melted there. The soul, when going to experience any material conception, will have to pass through a medium which influences his consciousness to see things as material. What is concrete matter is unknown. It is a mere effect of consciousness. And everything material must have some conscious origin or origin in personal consciousness. Now you'll see that the cow actually wonderful. Cow will eat grass. Then what are the products coming from the cow? The cow dung is coming. Cow urine is coming. Cow urine is salty, milk is sweet. So like that, it is not impossible for the same God to create the milk ocean and also the salt water ocean. If a cow can create salty cow urine and also sweet milk, then why God cannot create salt ocean and milk ocean? We cannot reject all these things which are mentioned in Bhagavatam. There is salt water ocean, there is milk ocean, there is sweet water ocean, there is curd ocean, yogurt ocean, and sugarcane juice ocean and ghee ocean. All this, and even liquor ocean. Understand? There is an ocean of liquor also. Understand? Don't have to purchase anything. Just go there. Understand? So all the people in the world searching for liquor. Understand? But actually, there is an ocean of liquor. I hope So anyways, so as everything material must have some conscious origin or origin in personal consciousness. And there must be a personal conception of the sun, the moon, the earth, and all the planets. And there is a personal conception of the sun. Sun is called Vivaswan. The Chandra is also Chandra is also the conscious person actually. The earth is also person, and all the planets also a person. Like when Krishna was going to come, the Bhumi Devi, she went with demigods. She went to Brahma and told that demons are burdening the earth. Please help me. So earth also person. Or when Prithu Maharaj was very angry with the earth, so earth took the shape of a cow and was running. Then Prithu Maharaj said, I'll kill you. Why you are not producing grains? Then she said, people are very sinful. They don't want to do any bhakti, so I don't produce grains. But anyway, arrange for some calves and you can get as many grains as from me as you like. But arrange for some calf. So he arranged a suitable calf and he was able to milk the cow. The sun god, you'll see that Lolarka. The sun is also person. Understand? The sun god is also person. Like you'll see in Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj place actually Lolarka. Lolarka. Kashi. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, you'll see that the first canto, 7th chapter, 18th verse, you'll see that according to the reading matter, like either Kaha or Arka, there are two references in the Puranas. Kaha means Brahma, who once became allured by his daughter and began to follow her, which infuriated Shiva, who attacked Brahma with his trident. Brahmaji fled in fear of his life. As far as Arka is concerned, there is a reference in the Vaman Puran. There was a demon by the name Vidyunmali who was gifted with a glowing golden airplane which traveled to the back of the sun, and night disappeared because of the glowing effulgence of this plane. With this demon Vidyunmali had an airplane. It was so effulgent that night just disappeared. Thus the sun god became angry because sun is thought that I have an alternative now. Right now we are totally dependent on the sun, but now Vidyunmali's airplane is an alternative to the sun. Understand? So sun became very angry with him. And with his violent rays, he melted the plane. Understand? So when Vidyunmali's plane was melted, this enraged Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva then attacked the sun god, who fled away and at last fell down at Kashi, Varanasi, and the place became known as Lolarka. You see that the sun god is also person. The moon is also person. Understand? The moon god is also person. Moon showed attachment more to Rohini, one of his 27 wives, and his father-in-law became very angry with him, and the moon contracted tuberculosis, TB, and was almost withering away. Again, Lord Shiva saved him. Understand? So they're all persons. Understand? They're all persons. All these planets are persons. That stage has some spiritual existence as a person. Therefore, the Bhagavatam refers to the sun, the moon, and the planet Rahu as persons. Everything, the earth, the moon, the stars, the planets, has a personal conception. Like actually, there is Yamadvitiya. Will be today is actually not today, but there is this month actually Yamadipadan, 23rd October, right, Sunday. Today you must offer a lamb to Yamaraj. Understand? Yamaraj. Yamaraj is the son of the sun god, and his wife's name is Shamala. Understand? So if you offer lamb to the Yamaraj today, in the name of Yamaraj, it is very good. And tomorrow is Yama Chaturdashi. Tomorrow is Vishnu temple, you have to light 14 lamps. 14 lamps, don't forget. Any Vishnu temple. But if no temple, then remember Vishnu and offer 14 lamps tomorrow. 24th October. This is what is told. And on 25th October, you have to offer a lamp in the temple of Vishnu. This month is actually full of lamps, Deepavali. Understand? So, they are all persons. Everything, The earth, the moon, the stars, the planets have personal conception. In the background of what we have perceived with our dull senses, everything that is said it to be matter, there must be a personal conception. Without the influence of a personal conception, consciousness cannot reach the stage of gross matter. Therefore, in the ancient scriptures, we find that the great sages and rishis are always addressing everything within the world as a person. Although to us it is dead matter, they have considered them as a person. So, for example, Ramchandra was telling the ocean, please give me the path. My wife is kidnapped by Ravana. I want to cross the U and I want to go to Lanka and fight a battle with Ravana and recover my wife, Sita. Please give me the path. And the ocean was dull and was not giving the path. So Lord Ram pulled out one arrow from his quiver and he was going to shoot an arrow and going to dry up the ocean. So the personality of the ocean came and then he prayed to the Lord. He said, I am dull. You only made me dull. So it took me time to come. Please don't worry. In your army, there are two brothers. Nala Nila Do Bhai, Narikai Vishashishapai. They have received some benedictions from the sages. So these Nala and Nila, these two great architects among the monkeys, if they will throw the stones, then the stones will create a wonderful bridge. They wrote the name of Ram, 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 and Hanuman and all the monkeys. They threw the stones in the ocean, and then the stones were floating. And so now stones also floating. How the stones are floating? They're also conscious. We went to Shripad Dandi Maharaj to Setubandha Rameshwar, and there we saw the stones which are floating on the water. Understood. Even now there are stones which are floating on the water. Now how this is possible? How this is possible? Understand. So the personal conscious entities, the ocean also prayed to the Lord. When Ram saw that ocean is not giving the path, he became very angry. Tava bole sakopa Ram hi bhaye bino hoye. Without fear, there is no love and affection. If there is fear, then only some love will be there. So Ram angrily wanted to chastise the ocean. Ocean personally came, he is also person. The personal conscious entity is more real, and the matter we pursue through deemed consciousness is less real. So we see the sun, the sun rays, sunlight, that is less real. And Vivaswan is the personal conscious reality is more real. So Dr. Murphy is asking, so that shadow is Rahu. When we conceive of the personal representation of that shadow, it will be known as Rahu. Everything is conscious. The shadow, its effect, everything. When the moon is between the sun and the earth, the shadow of the moon is coming here. And what is coming is also conscious. Everything is conscious. So basically what the scientists say that when the moon comes between the earth and the sun, then there is solar eclipse because the shadow of the moon is falling on the sun, something like this. Anyways, so from the personal conception, things evolve to gross consciousness. It is all personal. So the rishis with such a vision of reality used to address everything as a person, the trees, the mountains, the sun and the moon. Now tree is a person also. Understand? Tree is a person. Like once Srila Gurudev was on parikrama and he saw that one tree complained to him that people are passing stool very close to me. The stench of the stool is unable to let me do bhajan, causing a disturbance. Tell the members of your parikrama party, whoever is doing a fault of passing stool very close to me, tell that member not to pass stool very close to me. And Gurudev announced that whoever is passing stool near that tree should not go close to that tree, but go far away from that. The tree is having a problem. There's a person there. In a tree was doing bhajan, some sadhu in that form of a tree. And once actually one banyan tree was there. There's a true story that one banyan tree was to be cut by a man, a Muslim man. And the banyan tree told the Muslim man that, what are you going to get by cutting me in a dream? The Muslim said, I will get a lot of wealth by selling your wood. Then that Muslim man said then that banyan tree told the Muslim man that I have hidden a very big rod actually, golden rod underneath my roots. Just dig a little bit, you'll get the golden rod, sell that golden rod, and you'll get more money than you'll get by my wood. Don't kill me. But a Muslim man dug underneath the banyan tree, got the golden rod, recovered the golden rod. He sold the golden rod in the market, and he was so ruthless and heartless. He again came with an axe and was again going to cut that banyan tree. And that banyan tree pleaded and pleaded, but didn't listen. And with the first hit of an axe, and blood started coming from the trunk of the tree. And that very moment, that Muslim man's wife came running and screaming, "Alas, alas, you are so heartless, you are so cruel. That tree gave you golden rod, and you still didn't spare that tree. And you see, our only son has died. That tree cursed, and because you cut that tree, now our only son has died, only because of your miserliness, greedy attitude, and ruthlessness. And you see, you paid with the life of our son." This is a true story. Understand? So trees also have consciousness. Understand? When pure consciousness is coming to experience pure matter, then there must be first some mixed stages. Like Sripad Dandi Maharaj, he a lot of research on consciousness, Sripad Dandi Maharaj, because he is of scientific mindset. Himself a great scientist, and he showed us actually once picture. You must be heard about time-lapse photography, and he showed how two coconut trees are growing away from each other. And he showed actually growing away from each other. They actually, because they see that if they will grow close to each other, generally coconut trees go straight like this. But because they were planted too close, you have to maintain some distance. In Nisargadatta Ashram, we have many coconut trees. Generally, you have to keep at least distance of 10 meters between two coconut trees, so that they will not obstruct each other's growth. But if you plant them maybe say 1 meter or 2 meters away, then they grow like this. They automatically know that they should not interfere with each other. So how can you not say that they have consciousness? They certainly have consciousness. And there are many plants on Nisargadatta Ashram I have seen. There is touch me not. Touch me not. And that small creeper, if you touch the leaves of it, it will immediately close. And then again it will like this. So they have consciousness. So everything is conscious. As the present scientists say everything is matter, we have real cause to think that everything is conscious. Scientists say everything is matter, and we say the opposite. We say everything is conscious. Whatever you see does not matter. We can directly feel what is in our nature. That is conscious. Our consciousness may be in a developed or degraded position, but consciousness is nearer to us. We feel our mental energy only. So it depends. Our consciousness may be developed or may be degraded, but we are conscious beings. So, very wonderful discussion going on. Sridhar Maharaj is telling reality. What is the reality of that object? Dr. Singh is asking. The reality that is in the soul. Only the soul is real. The seer is reality. The subject is real. Whatever the subject feels also emanates from the subject. So Dr. Singh is asking, but are the objects of the subject perceives also persons? So when we are seeing the color red, now is red also a personality? Everything has its representation. It's in the original personal, conscious, spiritual reality. Otherwise, there is no possibility of it being reflected into this plane as matter. Now, this is actually very much important to understand by an example. Like Srila Gurudev was talking about Gulal Kunda. Now, Gulal Kunda is one kunda near Ghantauli. And there actually Radha Krishna played Holi in Gulal Kunda, Ghantauli. And there near Govardhan, not far from our Math. And Gurudev said that when we are doing Gaur Purnima in Navadvip, that time Gaur Purnima day, that kunda where Radha Krishna sported becomes red automatically. And also in Barsana there is one Pili Poker, and there also the kunda becomes yellow once in a year because Radharani had washed her hands there. Because once Yashoda decorated Radharani like a bride, small Radharani, and covered her hands with turmeric. So she said, "How can I go to Mother Kirtida with these yellow hands?" And she washed her turmeric from her hands there. And even today, once in a year, the whole lake becomes yellow. Understand? So all the lakes in Vrindavan, they're conscious actually. We hear that Pushkar lake is also conscious. There was one person in Navadvip, he wanted to have darshan of Pushkar. And Pushkar gave him darshan. Understand? So anyways, now time is late. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubheshcha kripa sindhubheva parjanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any comments or questions, please ask.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Just want to clarify, you stopped on text 24, Bhagavad Gita. So we'll continue.
Yes, actually, I would say, yes, yeah, 24, 25. Next time, we'll go two shlokas. We'll take Achidyoyam Adhayoyam Akledya Ashotchevacha Nitya Sarvagata Sthanu Acholoyam Sanatana Avyaktoyam Achintoyam Avikaryo Ayam Achyate Tasmat Evam Vidit Tatvayan Nanu Shochantum Arhasi. So these two verses, 24 and 25 from second chapter, these very important verses we'll take next time.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. I have another question to ask you.
Yes.
You said you gave quite a good explanation about a solar eclipse that's coming up now, or the eclipse that's coming up, I think on Tuesday. And then I know that some places the sea is visible and some places not visible. Why is that, and what do we do in case if it's not visible?
Actually, it's a good question. I'll ask Sripad Dandi Maharaj because of the shadow of the Rahu. And if it is not visible in India, then we don't observe the rules and regulations which are generally prescribed. So you'll have to see the calendar on purebhakti.com, whether it's in South Africa, if it is visible or not visible. Understand? Because just like Sripad Dandi Maharaj also once told that the moon has two sides. Understand? The one side we always see, and the other side we never see. And he said that the cosmonauts apparently always land on the side we don't see. Understand? They say that they always say that we landed on the other side. We say that we have very big telescopes. Such telescopes that if you are looking from with that telescope from the moon, you can see how many stripes the general has on the shoulder. You can see that. Such accurate telescopes are there. But we are never able to see the persons who have landed on the moon from here using telescope. Why? Because they say that we always landed on the other side. Understand? So Maharaj was telling that this is how the moon hawks. That the so-called theory that giving that we landed on the moon actually. So Swami Maharaj repeated that. He said, we never landed on the moon. And then many people left ISKCON. Swami Maharaj said, okay, let them go, but I'm not going to believe what they say. I'm going to believe only Bhagavatam. Understand? So it's a good question. I'll ask Sripad Dandi Maharaj why it's a good research actually. Why those, and some astrologers will be also able to tell us that why some places the solar eclipse is really visible in some places. Because we are in different hemispheres actually. So the northern hemisphere and some people are in the southern hemisphere actually. So that's why also eclipse may not be seen actually. But if it is not seen in your area, then generally rules and regulations are not to be observed. But rules and regulations are very simple. Just do kirtan during that time. So even if you follow the rules and regulations, even if it is not visible, no harm. Because you will not lose anything. There are nothing to lose, only gain. Because you are doing wonderful kirtan and taking bath at home or in any lake and holy water. So this is the reason. Scientific reason also, the But Bhagavatam says we'll have to find out actually. I'll do some research. But science says that it is only about 480 kilometers wide when cast onto the Earth's surface. Solar eclipses are therefore only visible from within a narrow path across the Earth, making it difficult to get to a location to see one. So actually there is actually science explains different things. Astronomical events have always fascinated humans. Some occur every year, while others take place after a long time. One such celestial event is solar eclipse. The interesting part about this eclipse is that it is not visible everywhere on Earth. So what is the reason behind this? A solar eclipse occurs when the moon comes between the Earth and the Sun. This is what the modern scientists say. And Bhagavatam says that the apparently Rahu comes between the Earth and the covers actually. Rahu covers that particular planet, then there is eclipse. In this process, the moon casts a shadow over Earth. The moon moves over the sun during the day. And it becomes dark as the sunlight gets blocked. This moon is smaller as compared to the sun. Now you see that the modern scientists are telling that the moon is smaller as compared to the sun and the earth. Understand? But our Bhagavatam says that the moon is 2 times bigger than the sun. And moon is 2 times bigger than the sun. That is what the Bhagavatam says. And Rahu is 2 times bigger than the moon. So Rahu is 4 times bigger than the sun. So scientists are telling that since the moon is smaller as compared to the sun and earth, its shadow on earth isn't very big. As a result, only some places on the planet get to witness the phenomenon. Understand? So they're saying the small moon shadow on the sun, so its shadow on earth is big. As a result, only some places on the moon on the planet get to witness the phenomena. People who are on the sunny side of the earth and in the path of the moon's shadow can see the solar eclipse while others miss it. So, on average, the same spot on earth only gets to see a solar eclipse for a few minutes about every 375 years. This is the National Aeronautic and Space Administration, NASA. So you see that this is the modern view. Understand? But our Bhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj has written this eclipse, and he is very clearly told about the planet Rahu. So actually, Srila Bhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj in the 4th canto, 29th chapter, 69 verses. In this connection, the darkness occurring before the full moon, the lunar eclipse can be explained by being another planet known as Rahu. According to Vedic astronomy, the Rahu planet, which is not visible, is accepted. Sometimes the Rahu planet is visible in the presence of full moonlight. It then appears that this Rahu planet exists somewhere near the orbit of the moon. The failure of the modern moon excursionist may be due to the Rahu planet. In other words, those who are supposed to be going to the moon may actually be going to this invisible planet Rahu. Actually, they are not going to the moon, but to the planet Rahu, and after reaching this planet, they come back. Apart from this discussion, the point is that a living entity has immense and unlimited desires for material enjoyment, and he has to transmigrate from one gross body to other until their desires are exhausted. Actually, Sai Maharaj is telling that they never landed on the moon. They may have landed on this invisible planet Rahu. Understand? After hearing from the sun and moon demigods about Rahu's attack, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu engages his disc known as the Sudarshan Chakra to protect them. The Sudarshan Chakra is the Lord's most beloved devotee and is favored by the Lord. The intense heat of its effulgence, meant for killing non-Vaishnavas, is unbearable to Rahu, and he therefore flees in fear of it. During the time of Rahu, disturbs the sun or moon. Here occurs what people commonly known as an eclipse. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is always the protector of his devotees, who are also known as demigods. The controlling demigods are most obedient to Lord Vishnu, although they also want material sense enjoyment, and that is why they are called demigods, or almost godly. Although Rahu attempts to attack both the sun and the moon, they are protected by Lord Vishnu. Being very afraid of Lord Vishnu, Chakra Rahu cannot stay in front of the sun or moon for more than a murta, 48 minutes. The phenomena that occurs when Rahu blocks the light of the sun or moon is known as eclipse. The attempt of the scientists of this earth to go to the moon is as demonic as Rahu's attack. Of course, their attempts will be failures because no one can enter the moon or sun so easily. So, like the attack of Rahu, such attempts will certainly be failures. So, here, Bhagwan Chakra, Rahu will abandon. Otherwise, Rahu will not give up. So, you see that this time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born also, considering this Rahu, the black planet, covered the full moon and immediately vibrations of Krishna, Krishna, Hari emanated the three worlds. Swami Maharaj is telling in purport. According to Jyotirveda, lunar eclipse takes place when the Rahu planet comes in front of the full moon. There is one Veda called Jyotirveda. Veda means knowledge. It is customary in India that all followers of the Vedic scriptures bathe in the Ganges or the sea as soon as there is a lunar or solar eclipse. During that time, you must be submerged up to your waist in the water. Or maybe if not very close to the water, you have to take bath before the eclipse begins. When the eclipse is in the middle and when the eclipse ends, 3 times you have to take bath. If that's not possible, then at least you should take bath at the end of eclipse. All strict followers of the Vedic religion stand up in the water throughout the whole period of the eclipse and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. At the time of the birth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, such a lunar eclipse took place, and naturally all the people standing in the water were chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So actually, solar eclipse time, Radharani went to meet Krishna at Kurukshetra. Generally speaking, Kurukshetra is considered very auspicious for solar eclipse time. And for lunar eclipse, you are supposed to go to Kashi. But you know, also it is told that if you follow eclipse at Akrur Ghat, then so much more benefit will come in Vrindavan. But wherever you are supposed to do loud kirtan. So Swami Maharaj is telling that there are invisible planets and stars. For example, when the Rahu planet passes before the sun and moon, there is an eclipse. But the scientists describe an eclipse differently. Actually, the Rahu planet causes an eclipse. There are many questionable points regarding the modern scientist theory of the eclipse. And so he has actually discussed this elaborately. But actually, Srila Bhakti-Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj told that why at the time of eclipse, 3 planets, why at the time of eclipse, actually these 3 planets come very close to each other and they may collide with each other. Understand? So that's why people pray that, oh Lord, there should not be any collision and please save us. And that's why they pray during that time. Otherwise, there may be collision and everything will be finished. Understand? So these 3 planets may also come very close to each other. This one was read actually. But I'll try to ask Sripad Dandi Maharaj also. Why is the reason why it is seen only for a short time. Okay.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jai. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Any other question or comments?
Yes, Maharaj, I have one more question to ask you. Sorry to inconvenience you. My question is regarding, you said about Yam Deepa lamp. We light on the 23rd, which is today in South Africa, for Yam Deep Yam lamp, Yamraj. Can you explain, or is there any specific way we need to offer it, or is there any direction we need to put it, or should we be concerned about it as Vaishnavas?
Actually, there was actually Sripad Dandi Maharaj told me to translate one book from Hindi to English actually, and with the help of Keshav Prabhu from America. I translated a book actually. It is about Vaishnav Vratas. And Chaturmasya, the last month is Damodar Mas, actually, Damodar Mas. So this particular Mas, Damodar Mas, is very, very important. And this month, we have to give, offer a lamb to Thakurji and also to Yamaraj also. So, Yamadipadan, I'll read about it. In the month of Kartik, there's a dark fortnight, Treyodashi, in the evening. Outside, we should offer actually a lamp for Yamaraj. And if you offer a lamp to Yamaraj, then you become free from accidental death. You become free from the fear of accidental death, apamrityu. So there is one particular mantra which I will actually send to our group. Yamadipadan mantra is as follows. Mrityunam pashadandabhyam kala shamalaya saha trayodashyam dipadanat suryaja priyatam iti. Understand? Arthat, on this Trayodashi, on 13th day, I am offering lamb to Yamaraj. Understand? And Yamaraj has 3 weapons in his hand. He has 2 hands. One is actually a noose, like a rope. By that rope, he pulls out the soul from the body. Another one is a danda, actually a rod of punishment, a chastisement. And he is accompanied by his wife Shamala. He is the son of sun god. He is the death time personified. So I am offering lamb to him. So exact I will send today to the group. So this book is actually very important because we have to do this lamb actually. And also this particular month you will have to light a lamp. Means you take a bamboo, because when I was in South Africa, there were so many houses. There were actually big bamboos with flag of Hanumanji planted outside houses, in those houses. I could see that. If you want to find out which is a Hindu's house, you'll see there's a flag of Hanuman. So generally, if you have a bamboo, then you'll have to light a lamp actually. And then you'll have to pull with a rope, just like you do flag hoisting. Like that, you'll have to pull that lamp and it will go to the sky. I've seen that. So Padma Purana says that you have to offer a lamp to the sky in this month. If you do so, then you'll get wealth, prosperity, and you'll get a religious son also if you're married. And that person will take birth in a good family next life. And then finally one will go to the planet of Vishnu. So when we are offering a lamp to the sky, one particular mantra has to be chanted, which I'll post in the group. Damodaraya navasi tulaya amlolaya saha pradipante prayachami namo anantaya vedase. Actually quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas, 16th chapter, 66th verse. Padma Puran Vakya. This is actually Padma Puran. Hey Damodar, in the month of Kartik, Damodar, I am offering a lamp along with your Mahalakshmi Srimati Radhika. Krishna's Mahalakshmi is Radhika. Oh Ananta Vidata, I offer obeisances to you. Now in conversation between Brahma and Narad in Skanda Puran, it is told that if you light up the lamps, oil lamps, in the temple of Lord Vishnu in this month of Kartik, then millions and millions of your descendants, millions of your descendants will never go to hell in your lineage. And all of them, all your descendants, millions and millions of them, will get the same form as Lord Vishnu, 4-arm form, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, and they will get the topmost abode. So if you light up a ghee lamp during this month of Kartik, if on the next Ekadashi is Utthana Ekadashi, when the Lord will wake up from his sleep, 4-month-long sleep. If you light up a lamp on that Ekadashi or next day Dwadashi, then you will get bodily effulgence like 10,000s of the suns, and you'll ride a transcendental airplane, divine airplane, and go to the abode of Vishnu. So actually this particular month is very, very important to offer a lamb. There's a lot of discussion here. If you offer a lamb in this month to Vishnu, you'll never have to take birth again on the earth. So actually, now we are talking about offering charity at the time of solar eclipse in Kurukshetra or a lunar eclipse on the bank of Narmada. Understand? But the person who's lighting a ghee or sesame oil lamp to the temple of Vishnu, he'll doesn't have to do all this charity. He'll get the benefit of doing all the charity at the time of eclipse by simply lighting a lamp of ghee or sesame oil in front of Vishnu. Even if you don't know any mantras, even if you don't have any pious activities, even if you are devoid of any purity of body and mind, those who offer a lamb to Krishna or Vishnu during this month of Kartik, all their activities reach perfection. So those who have lit up a lamp in front of Keshava in the month of Kartik, then they should have. It is understood that they have done all the sacrifices and they have bathed in all the holy waters in the world. And Narad, the forefathers are telling, if our forefathers who are in Pitraloka, they are telling that if any son or daughter will take birth in my lineage, will offer a lamb to Lord Vishnu during the month of Kartik, to Keshava in the month of Kartik, then by that pious merit of offering a lamb to Vishnu during the month of Kartik, we will all be delivered. We will all be liberated. Understand? So my descendant will offer a lamb, forefathers will be delivered. So if you offer a lamb in the month of Kartik in the temple of Lord Vasudeva or Krishna, you will become free from all the obstacles in life and you will get eternal abode. Suppose in the month of Kartik, you offer a camphor lamp. You light up a camphor in front of the Thakurji, then all the persons who take birth in your lineage, even if your future descendants, they'll all be liberated by the mercy of Krishna who holds chakra in his hand. You suppose jokingly, sometimes people like out of play, like as a sport or hobby, if someone jokingly lights up lamps in front of temple of Vishnu or Vaishnavas, not only temple of Vishnu, but even Samadhi Mandir of Gurudev, if you light up a lamp during this month, then you'll obtain fame and your 7 generations will be purified. Suppose I am very poor, I have no money to even purchase oil, lamp, ghee, wick or anything or sesame oil. But I can sell myself, I can sell my own body and purchase some oil and offer a lamp. In month of Kartik, it is so important. You can barter yourself or sell yourself just to buy enough ingredients to light a lamp, but never forget to offer lamp. Or if any foolish person who doesn't light up a lamp in the temple of Lord Vishnu during this month of Kartik is not fit to be called a Vaishnava. In Padma Purana and Narad Purana, conversation between Rukmini and Mohini, it is told that so those who offer a lamp in the temple of Vishnu, they will get transcendental effulgence body. Even if you have no lamp of yours, then still you light up a lamp of others. You borrow from them and you can offer it to others. And render service to Vaishnavas during the month of Kartik. By this, you'll get the benefit of giving food in charity and performing Rajasvi and other sacrifices. Suppose you light up the lamps which are given by others, other people have kept, and you light up that lamp. You will never have to suffer the torture from Yamaraj if you light up a lamp of others also in this month for Vishnu. Actually, there was a mouse. On the day of Ekadashi, that mouse lit up a lamp which was placed by some other people, and he obtained a very rare human birth. due to that activity, because he lit up a lamp in the month of Kartik for Vishnu, mouse. If you donate the entire ocean, all the earth planet, and billions of cows, milk cows, along with their calves, what benefit you get? That benefit is not equal to even 1/16 of the merit or pious merit you accrue by offering a lamp on the top of the Vishnu temple. Means you have to go to the top of the Vishnu temple and put on the top of the Vishnu temple a lamp. Even if you tell, you make a deal with someone that, you pay me maybe 100 rupees, then I will light up the lamps of the temple of Vishnu. You ask money for it, actually, for that service from someone, rich person. And even if you do it for payment, still hundreds of your generations will be delivered. Even if you get paid for that work. It's such a glorious activity. Forget about lighting the lamps on the temple of Vishnu. Even if you look at the temple of Vishnu, which is decorated with lamps, then no one of your descendants will ever go to hell. You don't light a lamp. You just fold your hands and look at the temple of Vishnu, which is decorated with so many lamps. And then no one in your dynasty or your generation or your descendants will go to hell. Even the demigods desire to associate with the person who has offered a lamp in a temple of Lord Vishnu. So, in the entire month of Kartik, till the Kartika Purnima, if you offer a lamp on the top of the Vishnu temple, easily you will become an associate of Lord Vishnu. So, this is very, very important to offer a lamp, understand. So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandas. Hare Bol. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hey Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you, Marge, so much for all that explanations. Is there any more questions? Okay, I don't think there is any, Marge. Thank you again so much. Ananga Mohan Prabhu, can you do Jai Diwani, please? Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharpika Giridhari Radha Vinod Bihari Ji ki Jai. Om Vishnu Stotara Shatashimar Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Deity Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Om Vishnu Stotara Shatashimar Bhaktivedanta Dandi Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnu Stotara Shatashimar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnu Stotara Shatashimar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Pravishta Om Vishnu Stotara Shatashimar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnu Stotara Shatashimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnu Stotara Shatashimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Param Bhagavat Pravara Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Gauriya Vedanta Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki Jai. Srila Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Traya ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhat Raghunath Jeev Gopal Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Raya Ramananda Shri Gaura Prasad Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Antardvip Mayapur Sri Mantadvip Godrumadvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritudvip Janudvip Modadhumadvip Rudati Patmakar Shri Navadipatam ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gopa Gopi Govardhan Dvaraj Vandmakar Shri Vrajbandal ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Mukund Ganga Yamuna Tulasi Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Srimati Vrinda Devi ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki Jai. श्री गोपीश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र सुदर्शन चक्र जीव की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल की जय। सर्व विघ्न विनाशिकारी श्री नरसिंहदेव की जय। भक्त प्रवासी प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। चार धाम की जय। चार संप्रदाय की जय। चार आचार्य की जय। अकर मत राशि चैतन्य मात की जय। श्री केशव जी गौड़िय मत सकम समूहा की जय। ग्रंथ राशि मत भागवत की जय। श्री भगवत गीता की जय। चारि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। सामगात भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमनंद हरि हरि बोल।
हरि बोल। करो, दया करो, कृपा करो, रक्षा करो गुरु। हरे हरे
Krishna Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much. Shripad Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Dev Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining today. And we will see you all tomorrow for, tomorrow is Monday, Madhurya Kadambini classes. And also at 12:30 India time, we will see Shripad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj for our normal Parikrama route. So thank you, dear devotees. We'll see you all again tomorrow. And Maharaj, sorry, one more thing. I just wanted to know for the eclipse for Tirupati, can you please just send it to me on WhatsApp? There's some devotees there that would like to know the proper time and stuff, what to do. So I'll just send it over. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, dear devotees, for joining us. See you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpa to the best. Chitanam Pavani Vaishnavi Vinona Vaishnavi Vinona
Vaishnavi ki jai, Sakarthi ki jai, Anang Mantra ki jai.
Dandavat Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.